Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and this is my review for The Walking Dead Season 10 Episode 18, titled Find Me. Now, fair play to AMC, to the crew, to the cast. They went back in tough times when COVID was very much still alive. It still is around, and they went back for our entertainment purposes to make episodes, 6 additional episodes, and this is the second one of the 6. So fair play to them, and I have huge thanks to them trying to give us entertainment in these tough times. So last week's episode I really enjoyed. You get that review is up on the channel, you can go check it out. It had real Predator vibes to it. I enjoyed it big time. In this episode, not a lot happened, but I still enjoyed the kind of the journey we went on with the characters. And we found out something new about Daryl, which I thought was interesting. But the main plot for this episode was an adventure for Daryl and Carol turns sideways when they come across an old cabin. It takes Daryl back to the days when he left the group after Rick disappeared, as he relives the time that only the apocalypse could manifest. So it's interesting. This episode kind of goes through different time periods. So, it takes place in different periods between the moment Rick left through the helicopter. Nobody found his body. Nobody knew exactly what happened to Rick. So Daryl, as we know, was on a journey to find Rick. So it takes place from those moments to right now in the Walking Dead universe, the main episodes. And it goes through different time. It tells you exactly where we are a year later, 7 months later, 2 years later, 5 years later. So in that time period, Daryl left the main group of the Walking Dead. He was living out in the wilderness. He was away from everybody. He was looking for signs of Rick Grimes, anything to help him to find his brother, Rick. But he also had a map as well, so he was tracking each part of the river. And so he would mark off different destinations he was at, so he'd know exactly which parts of this river that he's checked. But throughout his process, he gets caught up in a storm and he loses that map. So, but this episode only had Daryl, it had Carol, and it had one other character, Leigh, I think the name of the character was. So, it had those characters. There wasn't much walkers. I think there was only 1 or 2. Daryl killed them off pretty quickly. So, it was a very small episode in that aspect. There was no action. There was no real threat from walkers. But it was actually a character episode, and it was actually very compelling. Now, some people would call this a filler episode. I don't really think it was. I think it was kind of a filler episode, but I think it was an enjoyable filler episode, if you want to call it that. It didn't really move the main story of the Walking Dead universe forward, and we didn't really expect that either with these 6 additional episodes, because they made them within a short time span. They did it for entertainment. It wasn't really going to further the main plot of the Walking Dead. Season 11 will definitely do that. This is more of just deeper delve into the characters. We're going to see here's Negan in a few episodes. We get to catch up with Maggie and see what's going on with her. So things like that. And I find those episodes pretty interesting, especially if the writing is good. Season 7, Season 8, we did episodes like that, and the writing wasn't that good. It just wasn't as interesting. But the writing from Angela Khan and her team in the last 2 seasons has been pretty top-notch, and I've really enjoyed it. But yeah, Daryl, of course, out looking for Rick. He comes across a puppy, this dog, he finds a pretty cute moment. This is kind of the origin story for Dog as well. But basically, Daryl comes across this cabin in the middle of nowhere, and this woman lives in this cabin. And yeah, she traps Daryl and looks like she's going to kill him, but of course we know she doesn't. But Daryl is able to get a connection with this woman, and they kind of, I would say, fall in love. They fall for each other. They sleep with each other. So this is kind of the first time in the Walking Dead universe that Daryl has had a love interest. Now, for years, fans have been crying out for Daryl to find somebody to love, to be with, and then other fans were saying maybe Daryl's gay and stuff like that. Honestly, it doesn't matter the sexuality of the character unless the story is purposed for that kind of the sexuality of the person. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But Daryl, people wanted Daryl and Carol. They wanted Daryl and Connie, and there was glimpses of maybe Daryl and Carol getting together someday. But I think they're just really, really close friends. They do love each other, but I don't think they love each other like that. Then we could see kind of a relationship blossoming with Connie. Then, of course, she went missing, and that kind of hit Daryl pretty hard as well. But this woman, Leigh, yes, they spend a lot of time together, and there's an interesting part in this episode because Leigh goes to Daryl. Where do you belong, Daryl? Do you belong here with me? Do you belong out in the woods looking for your brother? Or do you belong back with those people? So, and that's interesting because Daryl has never really been able to say where he belongs. You know, he was never one to really talk about things. And by the end of this episode, he wants to be with this woman. He wants to fall in love. He wants to maybe just have something like this because he, instead of surviving day to day, instead of looking for Rick, he wants this love in his life. He wants to be loved, and he really fell for this woman. So that's something that that we all kind of want to see from Daryl. You know, we want Daryl to be happy. He's gone through a lot in the Walking Dead universe, but Daryl himself doesn't know where he's supposed to be. But until this woman is gone, Leah, she goes missing. We don't know exactly what happened to her. She's probably still alive. Maybe she'll pop up in the spin-off, Daryl and Carl, maybe, or she could pop up in season 11 at some stage. But it's not until she goes, Daryl realizes where he's supposed to be. He wants to be with this woman. He even leaves her a note in the cabin saying, "I belong with you." You know, so that was very heartbreaking to see that Daryl going through that heartbreak, and he wants to be with her. But so we flash forward kind of with him with the woman, him looking for Rick, also him being with Carol as well, and their kind of interaction and their connection as people who have known each other since season 1 and over 10 years in the apocalypse. So they always have a connection together, but there was some home truth said. Daryl finally realised where he's supposed to be, but he tells Carol, "Where are you supposed to be, Carol? Anytime something goes bad, you run off." And I like that because that's something that the Walking Dead fan base has always said about Carol. Oh, it's the same repetitive storyline. Carol does something that she regrets in a way, and then she leaves, and she comes back. She does something else, she leaves, she comes back. She does something else, she leaves, and comes back. And even Daryl calls her out for that. He says, "Where do you belong, Carol? You always run away. Are you out here because you want to be with me, or are you out here because you want to run away?" Again, because the Whisperers attacked Alexandria because you were a cause of that, or because of what happened with Connie. Is that why you're running away again? And Carol is like, "I did the things I did because I felt they were right." And then Daryl's like, "Oh, as long as you're right, as long as it makes you happy at the end of the day." So there was some home truth between the two of them. And it was heartbreaking to see those two characters that we've loved for over a decade to interact like that and to really just go at each other. So I hope the relationship between those two patch up. And I'm sure they will, because in 2023, we are going to get a Carl and Daryl spin-off. Will there be a love connection, or where will they go? There was talks of Mexico, that kind of thing. Or will Daryl go on a journey to probably find Leia? Maybe Rick a little bit more as well. So yeah, Daryl has some characters that he really wants back in his life, Rick and Leia, and it's heartbreaking to see him like this, but he has a new purpose. But overall, the episode I thought was pretty good. It was the origin story of where he found Dog. It shows Daryl having this love interest that we always wanted to see from Daryl, and we finally get to see it now, and I thought it was done pretty well. So overall, episode did not much happen. It really didn't. You know, you could probably miss this episode and you wouldn't ruin the rest of the season for yourself. There's nothing to really spoil in this episode either. But overall, cinematography, some of the camera shots, some of the lighting was done pretty well, and I enjoyed it. And I liked the character of Leia. I liked Daryl, of course, and Carol. I thought it was a pretty good episode, and I enjoyed it. And it's probably one I would watch again because I think it's a great character study for Daryl. And Daryl has a lot of dialogue in this episode as well, which is great to see. So, guys, what was your thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 18? Did you like this episode? Did you think it was a waste of time or some filler? I really enjoyed it. I would sit down and watch it again. But let me know below your thoughts on The Walking Dead 6 additional episodes so far. Last week's episode, this week's episode, next week's episode. I'm not too sure what's happening, who's involved in that. I didn't really look, but I'm looking forward to the Negan origin story. Here's Negan adapted from the comics, so that's going to be pretty badass to see that with Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan. But guys, give a like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. Really appreciate it. Also, come follow me on all the social media accounts: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, at Movies That Matter. That stuff was in the end credits of the video. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. And tell me, how much does The Walking Dead mean to you? I've watched it for over 10 years. I'm a big fan of it. I've never missed an episode. And it really has been a part of my life. So I love The Walking Dead, and I'll continue to watch it until the day that the show absolutely dies. And that includes the spin-offs and the movies. But guys, yeah, catch you in the next one. Have a good day. Enjoy. And yeah, see you in the next one.